But yeah, let me share about a little introduction, very quick introduction about the UN Mappers community. So the UN Mappers community is the crowdsourcing community of the UN Maps team. We're a collective of open mapping enthusiasts committed to build accurate and crowd work geospatial data to support UN Maps, who also support peacekeeping missions and humanitarian support on the ground. So if you're interested to join us, please do join our UN Discord channel, bit.ly/UN Mappers Discord. We'll share that later. Oh, sorry. So who are the UN mappers? The UN mappers is a variety and a very diverse community from uniformed personnel. We also have people from the academia, national cartographic agencies, as well as the JS community, the local volunteers and contributors, and remote volunteers. And yeah, those data or open mapping data that the UN mappers produced are translated into UN maps, and these UN maps are used in a different, a lot of various different kind of ways, from planning, security, also reporting and logistics, humanitarian relief, and groundwater exploration. And how do UN mappers contribute to UN Maps? So this is kind of like our workflow from engaging the community to data production and to also benefit the local communities. So we're done with here. We created a project in the tasking manager, and for this event we will be crowd mapping, and the map data that we added will be validated by our volunteer and also professional validators to be able to produce high quality data, which will be used in the UN Map services. And in turn, we hope to benefit the local communities. Just a quick one on how to become a UN mapper. Just 3 easy ways to learn, to map, and also to join the community. Uh, yeah, uh, Learn how to map like this online mapping event. We also have field mapping events and also trainings that we've done in the past. And to also plug, we also have the UN Maps Learning Hub. You can go to maps.un.org/learning. We have multilingual courses available there from basic to advanced OSM. And maybe if you go there, we have a surprise. We have a new course that we uploaded, the QGIS course there, and some internal UN staff course as well on the UNJ portal. And then a way to become a UN mapper is once you learn how to map, you actually map. We have contributors who also do field mapping, or we've done field mapping in the past, as well as a lot of remote mapping. And then join the community once you've mapped. And the community is always here. If this is your first time joining us, again, you can join us in our Discord channel. And also we have lots of social media out there. I think we are all everywhere in social media. So please do follow us, like us on our social media pages. And through our social media pages, that's where we communicate our events and mapping projects, as well as recognizing our Mapper of the Month and sharing community stories. All of these are available on our website, maps.un.org. And we are now going to our mapping project. But first, if you have any questions, please do ask them in the chat. So we are mapping, as Fabian mentioned earlier and Mikel mentioned earlier, we are mapping agricultural waterways in southern Mauritania. The UN Mappers is supporting FAO to map the waterways along the Senegal River, and this will be used for the kind of master plan of the in Mauritania. And the map waterway network will serve as foundation for advanced spatial analysis, identification of infrastructure improvements, and yeah, ongoing monitoring and updates, to name a few. Fabian, would you like to add some more? If you
Yes, I can just maybe share some maps we produced just to
Sure.
introduce the
Yeah, I'll stop sharing for now. I believe you can share.
just to explain a bit the context. Let me see. So yeah, when we talk about the area of interest is this blue area. So it's the valley of the Senegal River in the south of Mauritania. That's where most of almost all the agriculture is happening. So everything is in the south, and so this defined our area of interest. Oh, wait, sorry, it's not the right one. Can you see my screen? Yeah, okay. So here in green, you have all the irrigated agriculture in number of hectares, and in orange is the rain-fed agriculture. So the first phase of our project is really on this irrigated area. But so far, they mostly produce rice for a lot of canals, very extensive irrigation systems. So here is just a result to show the first phase of infrastructure field data collection. So they collected down 1,200 points for the inventory of various elements. And the waterways was really the issue for us. Is the aim we have in terms of what kind of product we want to produce as a first product is a map of infrastructure and the waterways as an atlas, like a high quality map that we could provide the local partner. And that's where we really need help in mapping all the waterways, because even through remote sensing, we don't have ways to really automatically detect waterways. It's much better with a human input and detection. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Fabian. Yeah, for also sharing us the kind of the map product or map outputs that how this the data that we will be adding today will be used. Thank you so much. So later Mikel will will go us to the training part of the waterways. But yeah, let me just shout out some of our community collaborators today. So we are actually also the OSM ENSTP from Cameroon also collaborated with us, and yet we'll be dedicating their time, I think around 3 weeks of their time, to map the project, this UN Mappers XFOW project. And their mission is to promote the creation and use of open data. Anyone here from the OSM in ENSTP to share something? Maybe Modo, are you here? All right, not they're not here yet, but yeah, maybe later we can they can introduce themselves. And also, of course, we have invited some of our community contributors from OSM Mauritania. Please do raise your hand if you're from Mauritania, if you have our contributors, local contributors here, or not. Not yet. And okay. Thank you so much.
I see Arlali in the meantime, Modo
Oh
joined.
yeah.
Do you call him?
Hello, Moto. Yeah, we were just talking about OSM and STP model. Would you like to share a little bit of your map word challenge?
Hi, Annalie.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hi, Mika. Hi, everyone. Okay. Thank you for this training about Waterways. I will share with you some overview about the map world challenge. Map world challenge one concept that Waterways has adopted here to collaborate with different organizations around the world about mapping. So the concept is very simple. At the first time, train the members at OSM NSPP, and these members contribute um, as the project of the organization. So globally, very simple to collaborate and bring more engagement, OSM environment globally. That is the review about how functioning.
All right. Thank you so much, Modo, and yeah, thank you for bringing your community here to contribute to our project to support FAO. And with that, yeah, I'll hand it over to Mikel to do the training, and then after that, yeah, we'll have some time to map as well. Again, yeah, please do register for OpenStreetMap account. Thank you. Yeah, over to you, Mikel.
Thank you very much, Arnalee. Okay, so today we are going to see how to map waterways. Is not the typical OpenStreetMap activity because we are more used to map buildings, roads, and other features. But I don't believe it's like much more difficult than other features that we have in OpenStreetMap. So we can jump right into the details. I want first of all like to do like a part of feature identification. So we'll go through a bit the area that we are going to map. So, I mean, as of now, you don't have to map yet. I just want to discuss a little bit the what we are going to see. I mean, what is the landscape that we are going to see. Also, I ask Fabienne if you like, in case you have like any comment or like any suggestion, like just to stop me whenever you want to jump in and say and correct me if I'm wrong on some features. So the goal of this mapping project that will be actually open for quite some time because it's a huge area is basically to check whether canals are mapped and also to map them in case they are not. There are several types of waterways actually. In the project presets, I put some features, some tags that you can use, and I will go through all of them one by one, just showing you how is the landscape basically that we can see from satellite imagery. The current editor that I'm using is JOSM. You can edit on OpenStreetMap with two different editors. One is ID editor, that is the online one. It's the most widespread and used. And JOSM, that is instead a desktop application that you need to download. And here you can conduct like mapping operations quite smooth. It's more similar to a GIS software. So it has plugins, shortcuts, and that kind of things. Okay, so we are mapping two features basically: the waterways and the farmlands. I will start probably with the farmlands because it's the most straightforward one. So as you can see here, we have, for example, a rice field. This was already mapped by another mapper contributor. I believe it could be Fabien himself. So basically, what we do in this case is to draw polygons all around the farmland area. So that is quite straightforward. We need to draw a polygon that is enclosing all the area that is currently farmed. So basically all around the crop. You can see the crop by just zooming in on your map, and you see like if you see some greenery, and especially if it is like with this very regular grid, we can understand that this is a human crop, and basically we will enclose it within the polygon itself. So the tag here will be farmland for the ID editor, or I mean, more generally, the tag used in this context is land use equal to farmland. So this will be the way we map farmlands. We can also further specify the type of crop, but I will leave this for a second moment. So the most important thing is just to identify the geometries, and later on it will be much easier to define which are the different types of crops once the geometries are already traced. So this is for the farmland. I think it's straightforward, but we can go back to it in case you have any questions later on. And then we have the waterways. Waterways are a little bit different in a way that we are using open ways. So in this case, we are mapping basically lines. So for example, we see here the Senegal River that is basically at the border between Mauritania and Senegal. And it is when we map waterways, the most important thing is the way, let's say the direction in which we trace the waterway, because the direction is also let's say supposing the flow of the water. So if we are for example, if we see here this line with the arrows that are going this way, it means that it has been traced from this point up to this point. And so we mean that the water is flowing in this direction, and that is fine because in this project it will be actually very easy to identify the correct direction of the water, because all the canals, let's say, are or rivers or streams, they are always flowing back into the Senegal River. So that is like a bit straightforward for especially for this area in which that is the southern part of the project. So whenever you are at the, let's say, the most, the southernmost part of the project, you will see the Senegal River, and it will be easy to understand the flow. If you are instead a bit more on the north, like here, that will be, I think, always the same, but there are some, I saw some cases in which that is not very straightforward. I mean, most of the cases it will be like going to the main river. Okay, so just going through the different tags. When mapping waterways, we have several tags that we can use. And the first distinction that I would like to make is the distinction between natural and human waterways, I mean, human created waterways. So starting from the natural ones, we have the waterway equal to river. So basically it is a line that we are tracing in which there is a big flow of water. If we go to the let's say Wikipedia definition, or Wiki OSM, the OpenStreetMap Wikipedia definition of river is basically all rivers. I mean, rivers are basically all the waterways that you can not jump from one side to the other. So that is like is giving a very good idea of how much. I mean, what is the width of a river in general. So, for example, if let me just query them. So we can see what has been mapped as a river. We have, for example, this water flow that is mapped as a river. So why? Okay, so these the natural waterways are very clear, let's say, in their definition, because you see they have all these. I mean, they are not straight lines. They are just flowing as I mean, the water is just flowing as it finds space in the territory. So whenever you have like very let's say not straight lines here, you can just draw rivers and assign tag waterway equal to river. So this is like a very good indication, let's say, of natural of a natural waterway. Then another waterway that I included in the project is the natural stream. So I think yes, this one is a stream. So what is the difference with a stream? Let me just query the streams so I can. Yes, there are some. Well, I will go a little bit on Senegal just for the explanation. So basically, a stream is the same as a river, but is much narrower. So when you have a stream, you have, as in this case, you have like a very small bed of the river. So let me see. I have to find a good example. Yeah, maybe here. So, okay, yes, this one is very clear because you see this is like the main waterway, the river that is flowing, let's say in its fashion, and then we do have a stream. This is also flowing not in a straight line, but is much narrower. So whenever we have, let's say, a ramification of a river, we basically assign the waterway equal to stream tag. Okay, so switching to the main waterways produced, I mean, created by humans. We do have the main waterway that we are searching for are canals, and that is actually the goal, the main goal of the project is to map canals. Now I selected some of them, and I think the best way to identify canals is basically as compared to before, to what I said before. You see, the lines will be much straighter than before. So it's going. I mean, you can recognize is built by humans. So that is like the main definition is a agricultural waterway built by humans, and it's also a big one. So you can clearly see, let's say, the water passing through. So it has like a big width, so you can see the water. And the other let's say important thing is that is clearly passing through farmlands. So whenever please, can you Arnali mute all the participants from the list, because otherwise it will be very difficult for me to.
Oh, so now it lets me. Now it lets me. Fuck's sake.
Mikhail, you're muted too. Sorry. Mikhail, we can't hear you yet. You're muted.
Now you should hear me.
Yes.
There should be an option within the participants list in which you can mute only the non presenters.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so yes, just let me repeat another time about canals. So those are human built waterways. They are straight, so you can easily recognize them because they are very regular geometries. And you can usually see the water passing through, so the width of the canal. And they are also passing through farmlands. So here you can see these are, I believe, they are rice crops as well. And yes, they are not. Hello.
No, go ahead, Miguel.
Okay, sorry. I thought it was Fabian to speak to me. Okay, so yeah, they are passing through farmland. So that is the main definition. The easiest way that I found by just looking around in this area was basically to go towards the Senegal River, and you can clearly see the canals coming out of it. So like in this case, you can see the water going until here. So I will map this as a canal. And in theory, all waterways should be connected to the whole waterway network, just to ensure topology. But I mean, it's also, I mean, we can do this like in a second phase, like kind of a validation phase. So for now, we can just draw the lines wherever we see some waterways to be traced. So let's take for example this one. We can clearly see the canal because it's coming from the water. This is like a wetland. Is usually when this is a reed. So it's yeah, like a typical like wetland vegetation. It's like a high, I mean, tall grass that is covering the water, but the water is still here. And you see the canal is going this way. So I can clearly see that is like a very regular shape, and I will trace it until I can see it. So I will go on. Sorry. And you see, I will go on until this point here, in which I see the canal is stopping. So if I just have to make an example, I mean, I'm not mapping yet. I'm just showing you what I would map in this case. The canal will do this will follow this direction. So I'm tracing the waterway, very importantly, towards the main river. So I'm just starting clicking from the end of the canal and going backwards, in this case, until the river. So that will be the flow. Then it depends from the season, can be dry, can be permanent. But yeah, I would suggest to map in this way. And then, of course, we assign the tag. But I will go later on ID editor, so it's much clearer. So that is about canals. The other feature that we are going to see today is drains. So it is the same as streams. So usually with drains, we are mapping canals that are much narrower. So you can see, for example, in this case, there are like many drains from each crop that is going towards the canal. So those ideally could be mapped even though we are interested in mapping, especially the main, the bigger canals, and as we said, the farmlands. So ideally, we can trace all these grids here. I mean, nothing prevents us in OpenStreetMap to edit this information, but we should focus only on the main waterways. So, for example, I see here, like basically one suggestion that I give you is to remove. Well, to hide the data. I will show later on how you can do it in ID editor as well. So once you hide the data, you can better understand what's below. And the drains basically will be these lines here. So I would just well map this one, for example. But it's very important not to go into, let's say, much bigger details, like, for example, I mean, we should not over-extract. So, for example, I wouldn't map all these parallel lines here because they are not very interesting to be mapped. So this one will be waterway equal to drain. And those are basically the tags that we are going to use. I will probably map also this one. So you see the direction is going towards other drains and the canal. So the direction will be always this one. So yeah, basically this is it. Please, if you can mute yourself. And that's it. Then just to wrap up a little bit, we have rivers. Then we have streams. When streams were very nicely mapped down below. Yeah, these are streams, so like very narrow natural waterways, while rivers are natural waterways, but they are much bigger in width. And then we have canals, which are much more regular shape. They pass through farmlands, and you can clearly see water inside them. And drains that are smaller waterways connecting to canals. Anyway, our focus will be again on canals and farmlands. Okay, so this is about the feature identification. I don't know if you have any questions so far, or if Fabienne wants to add anything that maybe I missed.
Yeah, there are some question in the. Sorry, Fabian, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, because there are some questions in the chat. So first, Mark, is clarifying if you can jump a stream. I think you mentioned earlier, that a river is defined as naturally too big to jump. So is the assumption then is stream is smaller and can be jumped?
Yes, exactly. And actually, I mean, it's a funny definition. I mean, you don't have to take it like very seriously, but that is the way in OSM we typically differentiate between rivers and streams, which is funny. Now I'm trying to find. Let me see the. Yes, let me see. Okay, I'm sharing in the chat the OpenStreetMap wiki that is like the main reference for tagging in OpenStreetMap. And you see waterway equal to river is basically is considering to map as streams, small waterways that can be jumped across by a fit adult. Suggested value is less than 3 meters width. So that is like the definition. Then there may be like different. I mean, of course, this is very difficult to identify from satellite imagery, but we just take inspiration from there, and then we map as larger natural waterways, rivers, and then as smaller waterways, we map them as a stream.
Okay, thank you, Mikel. And yeah, there are two questions from Patrick. Fabian, please feel free to also chime in. Yeah, one is that is there some guidance or best practice to objectively distinguish between smaller canals, which are tagged waterway equals canal, and larger drain, which tagged as waterway equals ditch or drain? Is there like, yeah, how many meters? I don't know. Yeah. For your zoom in, is there like a, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I was seeing on OpenStreetMap, I saw some canals mapped as drains and vice versa. So I think, I mean, most of the tagging will be reviewed in validation phase. But I mean, my opinion is you just decide based on the width. Unfortunately, I don't have like a much strict threshold to decide. And it's very difficult in general to ensure homogeneity when doing crowdsourcing mapping because everybody has their own interpretation. So what we can do is like just to validate in the end, but if in case, I mean, if you map I mean, the important here is to differentiate between natural and human features.
All right, thank you so much.
I don't
Yeah,
know if Fabien wants to
yeah.
add, if you are also maybe if FAO is interested in this kind of classification between drains and canals, or just, I mean, it's just fine for you like to have the geometry and
Yeah, the geometry is really what matters the most, because on top of it we'll put some information from the field. But yeah, it might still be a good way to filter though, if we to filter between the main ones and the smaller ones.
All right.
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So we have another question from
Well,
Patrick.
actually, Arnali, I see Martin from HOT,
Yeah,
from the validators.
a list of questions.
I
But
don't know if it's
you're
a
going to
question
answer?
related to
Yeah.
this comment or
Okay. Yeah. Martin, go ahead. Is it related to the question? Do you have any comments on the question? Please go ahead.
Am I hearable?
Yes.
yes.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
No, it's more in general about Michael's introduction. It's more of a addition, but maybe are there still questions that are in the chat?
Yes.
Yes, there are.
Can I speak or shall we wait till the chat questions are answered? What do you
I
prefer?
think we can wait and we go through the questions and then we come back. What do you
Yeah.
think?
We'll come back with you. So we have Patrick and then Michael Larson and then you, Martin.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Sorry for that. Yeah, from Patrick, for farmland, do we include also plots that are currently are not cropped or irrigated but have clear paddy plot bunds, elevated plot fringes? In your demo, this was not clear. So yeah, do we
Yes,
also?
it's very difficult to decide because also there is a big difference from dry to rainy season because like you have some crops that maybe are dry, but then in the rainy season they are completely overflowed of water. So my suggestion would be to map whatever you can see on the imagery. So to map only the ones that are currently cropped. I mean, they are currently irrigated in your imagery, and then if you see that maybe that there may be like bigger plots, for sure those will be covered in rainy season. So that would be my suggestion. I mean, because from my experience, when I see farmlands, I can see, especially in desertic area or like areas of this kind, I can see some farmlands that maybe they are not irrigated anymore, and then eventually they disappear. So I will just, as we do in OSM, we just map what we can see from the imagery. So I will just map the irrigated ones.
Do you want to add, Fabian?
Yeah, just to add, maybe in the case of clear perimeters for rice, Yeah, I'm actually wondering the same. I was wondering the same thing when mapping, if we also keep the crop that are like clearly visible through the grid of irrigation, or if we only map the green part, because it changes a lot from month to month, and it's hard to tell.
All right. Thank you, Fabienne. And then, we just have a question from Michael Larson and then you, Martin. 3 questions from Michael. What's the best way to determine or guess the direction of water flow?
Okay, so that is it depends on the area that you are mapping. So usually when you are mapping in areas that are let's say on the mountains, you have to have the altimetry, so to see the height of the territory, just to understand where the water is flowing, and naturally is flowing from highest places to low altitudes. So that is the best way to determine the flow, and there are several ways to do it practically on OSM by just visualizing open cycle map or open topo map, that are base maps that you can upload from ID editor or JOSM. But in this case, it is like a very flat area. There is no indication of the water flow. So like my suggestion would be just to map all the flows towards the river, because then eventually the river is going to the ocean. But it's just like to give us a convention. I'm sure that during different season this is changing. I mean, water is flowing both. I mean, especially for canals and for drains, that is like not very interesting, because in the end water is flowing either way. But for rivers, yes. So for rivers, usually they tend to go to the main river and then to flow into the ocean.
Okay, another question, Michael Larson. If a river has an obstacle, for example, an island in the middle, should we map both sides of the stream?
Yes, I have an example. I saw an example when I was, yes, I can share my screen just quickly. So you see, in this case, it's the Senegal River, and we have like an island in the middle, and the river is mapped both sides. Actually, there is also another small island here, and you see the river is also going in this way. It depends. I would anyway suggest not to map multiple streams in case the area is very small. Like for example, in this case, we have an island that is around 50 meters of length, and I would not map like several streams here, because I mean, it's clear that the flow of the waterway is this one. So I would prevent over extraction. So whenever, I mean, I will just map different waterways only when there is like a lot of water and a clear island in the middle. Otherwise, I will just go ahead with just one stream.
All right, then one last question from Michael Larson. If the riverbed is dry in the satellite imagery, is there any difference on how to map them? Do we map dry riverbeds, or is there a difference?
That is that is bringing me to the additional tagging that we can do. So the when we map a waterway, we can also add additional tagging to the waterway. And in this case, we are speaking about intermittency. So in dry areas, you have intermittent waterways that in dry season, for example, they are not there, but in rainy season, they are there. So we usually add an additional tag that is intermittent equal to yes, just to say that the river is there or is not there. And in a similar fashion, also we are mapping in this way also riverbeds. But I mean, we are not going to map riverbeds in this project. So that one. I mean, riverbeds are mapped as polygons basically, but for us, I mean, at least in this project, in canals specifically, those are always with water because they are connected to the river. So that is not an issue.
All right. And yeah, Martin, go ahead if you have any questions or comments.
Yeah, I hear something in the background.
Yeah, go
No,
ahead.
okay. Yeah, I have I made a few notes because the big river, it's also an admin border. Yeah, so maybe it's wise to warn people not to move that part of the waterway, because I think moving admin border is not a good thing to do. I'm not sure if our beginner mappers here also. And Michael, are we going to use the tasking manager to map? Because maybe you can tell something about how to map waterways on the task border. You know?
Yes, exactly. I was going to do this just after this this part. I just wanted to have like a feature explanation beforehand, and now I'm going to the
premature.
technicals.
And are you going to tell something about the crossing of waterways and highways?
Yes, this is a good point. Let me share. I can go through.
That were my notes, by the way. So thank you.
Okay, thank you for actually for showing this case. Okay, so let me just find some intersections with highways and waterways. So you see, like we have some segments of the waterways, like canals, that are actually underground. So if you want to map like very precisely, so like to really say that okay, in that area the waterway is not crossing the road, but instead is passing below the road. We should add a couple of more tags. The first one is layer equal to -1. I will maybe show later also on the tasking manager how to do that on the ID editor. And also we have to specify tunnel equal to culvert. That is the particular type of tunnel that is typical of the agricultural waterways. And you see those tags are only applied to this small segment to mean that is passing below below the highway. This is like I repeat, if you are like a beginner mapper, that is not like a very big issue. But yes, it's like definitely very useful in case we want to map correctly the accessibility of the area. Actually, this activity is also much easier to do in validation because supposedly you already have all the waterways mapped by volunteers. So you can just cut segments like, okay, let's suppose I can find, let's suppose I will find one example, like maybe this one. No, well, this one I will probably change it. Anyway, once the waterway is already mapped, it's as easy as to create a couple of nodes, split the waterway, and we can add the tunnel equal to culvert, and layer -1. Well, I'm doing this only for, let's say, for this feature actually, but in validation it's much easier to apply it systematically to many splitted waterways. So, I mean, if you are a beginner, I would just suggest that you go ahead normally. But for example, in this case, I can just create the node here, split, and add the tags that I said. So the layer -1 and the culvert. So just to say that the waterway is passing below the highway. Thank you for noticing, Martin.
We're on the top of our hour, Mikhail. I think there's just one more question from Gregory, and then yeah, maybe you can show us how to map using Hot Tasking Manager so we can start the mapathon. But I think some people have already contributing. So one question from Gregory: what do you think about tagging waterways based on the presence of features, for example, banks, mindering, and oxbow lakes? Oh, you're muted.
Sorry, I totally missed the question as I was answering in the chat.
Okay. So, no, yeah.
So it was a question by Gregory.
Yes, by Gregory. Tagging waterways based on the presence of features. For example, bank.
Yes, I see. I think is totally fine if you can use those features to identify streams and rivers. Definitely. You can go ahead. In theory, I mean, whenever you can see like a clear flow of water and or a clear shape, that should do it. A very good indication for me it's vegetation or the color also of the water, because vegetation it's really showing where streams and drains are, like a typical wetland vegetation that you find in crops. So not a lot about the banks and the mindering and oxbow lakes, but that can also be useful. I wouldn't map those anyway. I mean, I would only map when I can see the waterway, I mean, the water flowing. So just to avoid over extraction.
All right. Thank you, Mikhail. Anyone here who's new, who's a beginner mapper? Can you raise your hand so we know? Oh, we have Mark. Okay. Yeah, so if you already done this before in the tasking manager, I shared the project mapping project in the chat. You can go ahead and then yeah, Mikhail will walk us through the tasking manager once you, but yeah, make sure you have registered your account already. Thank you. Over to you, Mikhail.
Thank you, Arnali. I was thinking that actually we're very lucky to be registering because I noticed I explained many things. Just one last question from Patrick. Just to confirm, small irrigation waterways as waterway equal to ditch or waterway equal to drain, and we do not map culverts in this task. I wouldn't suggest not to map culverts. I mean, if you want to map them, feel free to map. I know that is like a very specific thing, especially I would suggest to map them, especially if an highway is already crossing on top of the river. In that case, yes, you should definitely. But in case there is not, I wouldn't strongly ensure that you do it. Because yes, indeed it takes a lot of time as you just modify the the comment. And for waterways, yes, we are using drain in this case. So I think I answered all the questions. I will proceed with the projects so that we can show basically how to map in practice. So for the projects, to access the projects, you have to go on the hot tasking manager platform. So I think Arnali can put the link in the chat, and especially on the explore projects section. So here you have to click on the more filters button just to see our projects. So you can type UN Mappers in the organization, in the filter tab, and you will see all the projects. Alternatively, you can directly use the link for each project. But I just wanted to show that we actually have 4 projects open because the area is very big. It's basically all the border of Mauritania. I mean, at least what is touching the Senegal River. But for this time, let's focus on this project 23832. And you can access it on basically with this link. So projects 23832. So once you access the project, you can see a bunch of information. The first one is the area that we are going to map. And you can see a red area that is, let's say, where you should focus. I mean, in theory, I mean, basically all the areas are important, so you should focus on mapping all the tasks. But I also put like a priority area, especially to the areas that are closer to the Senegal River, because those are much easier to map canals from. So then it gets easier later on to define also the different types of waterways. So once we are in the project, you can click on contribute. I can see actually there is already many people that are mapping. That is wonderful. You can see those are tasks. So the idea behind the tasking manager is that every user is blocking, let's say, one small area for herself or himself, and they are producing all the data that is requested in this project within those tasks. Then the user can decide whether the task is completely mapped. So in this case, they are putting it ready for validation, or like with this blue color, or it can also be validated. In that case, another user that is not the same user that mapped this task will check the data and say whether it's completely mapped, or maybe if some culverts have to be mapped, something like this. I mean, it's making corrections and finally validating the task. On the project, especially here in the instructions, you will see some very important information that is basically what I explained right now. So especially how to map canals and farmlands with an example here in ID editor, and also how to identify the different features. So that is I mean, I recommend you to check these instructions. It's basically what we already discussed, but that is important to check. So let's go to action. So what we have to do is just to select one task. So I just click on one square, and I click later on here down at the bottom right, map selected task. So I can map the selected task. And in this case, you see, I am accessing for the first time ID editor. That is the online editor, the browser, the one that can be accessed from browser. And you see, in this, especially in this case, I have the Senegal River that is here. I typically do not modify this one because as Martin was saying, it's also a border. So we just are not interested to modify it. But I can see, for example, the first canal that is here. So you see, this canal is connecting basically this this river area. So I can see that this is the bed of the Senegal River. And what I should do is to just draw the canal. So how to do it? I click here on line, add feature. I connect only the river bank. So in this case, I have this waterway area here, and I can connect. So I will start the node from this point without connecting to the other ones. So I'm not interested to connect it to the wetlands. I'm just passing through and going this way. And then I can trace the canal. So here you see is the same thing that we were saying before. So I have an highway that is passing on top of the canal, because you see the canal is going here. It's a very regular shape and is going correctly to farmland areas. So that is definitely a canal. But as Martin was suggesting, we should also add, in this case, the culvert, because the water is passing below the highway, no? So I will just, the first thing that I should do is to click on canal, just to say that I mapped a canal. And actually the flow, well, the flow should be the other way around, just for our convention. So can right click and change the direction of the line with this option. And how to add the culvert. So I will have to split the waterway. So to split it, I can either press X as a key on the keyboard, the shortcut, or I can right click. I can select the node in which I want to split the waterway. I right click on the node and I click split. So in this case, you see, I have two waterways, this one and the other one. And especially if I select this one, you see tertiary road crosses canal. So there is a warning that I have a road that is crossing a canal and indeed is not correct. So I can click here, add culvert, and that's it. So I added a culvert. I really, sometimes it's difficult to understand in ID editor what I'm doing because I cannot see the it seems to me it's correct. Okay. ID editor is even more smart than what I was thinking. So basically, you don't need to split the waterway anyway, because it does it for you. So let me just reverse whatever I was saying. Just let me continue with this waterway the way I was doing. So you see, this is the waterway and is crossing the canal. I can click add culvert and it's doing the job for me. So I will just have to move the nodes in the part of the ground that is covering the canal. So once I did this operation, I can continue to map the canal. I will just follow the main flow that is going this way. You see, you can clearly see that the water, I mean, you can see the water as that is let's say, this black line, easy to identify. And then you see it's going until here and continuing. So you see there is this canal reaching this area and so on. I have to be careful, by the way, because sometimes I forget where I'm mapping. So you see, like in this case, I'm completely outside my task. So I should not map this one because there could be somebody else mapping in this area. I hope nobody took the adjacent task to me, but yes, ideally you should only focus on mapping whatever is within your ping box, and at least continue a little bit outside of it, so that whoever is mapping on the adjacent task can also use your feature. So my bad, this one will be upgraded to canal, and I will reverse also the feature. And that's it. So once I traced what I traced, I need also to submit my changes to OpenStreetMap, because until now the editing session is still in my browser. I didn't submit it. So I will click on the top right here, save. This is very important. And you see, we have already some hashtags identifying this chain set. So we have hashtag UNMappers and hashtag FAO, and also hashtag OSM and STP, so that and the hashtag map word challenge, so that we can identify and count statistics out of this data. I will click on upload. And this is done. So now the data is in OSM. So regarding the completion of tasks or not, I have to say whether this square is completely mapped or not. So I will say yes, because I mapped all the waterways and all the farmlands that I could see in this area. Well, actually, there are those in Senegal, even though they may be already mapped. No, they are not. Well, this is like a very particular case, because we are mapping in Mauritania, so I can maybe show how to map those very quickly. So what I suggest to do is to map as a polygon. So you have to click on area and just include all the farmlands that you can see. It will be difficult though, because this is like a very big farmland, and in some areas it's you see the water is overflowing out of the canals, and it's not cultivated. I mean, this is like kind of wetland, so we have a not very clear distinction between farmland and wetland. You can decide whether to go through the canals or not, because farmland is a land use, so it's not like a very physical thing. But for this project, I would suggest you just to keep it separate. So I would go this way. Why I finish here? Because later on, whoever is mapping on this side can map their own part, and then we can merge the two polygons. Or if the person is mapping here, can also modify my polygon. So it's useful to finish a little bit outside the pin box. And here instead we have a very clear one that is almost rectangular, let's say, farmland. So as we discussed, I'm not mapping the arid crops just for sake of being let's say being loyal to what I see in the imagery. And that's it. So these two changes that I made after I submitted the changes, the chain set, are not on OpenStreetMap yet. So I have to submit them again. So I will click save, upload. So they went to OSM. And I can put my task as completely mapped. So I click yes, I submit the task. And you see now the task is blue. So it means this task was mapped by me, and another user can come in and check whether I did everything all right, and put it as put it as validated. So this was like an example in which we mapped the canals and farmlands. Any questions so far?
Yeah, there was a question I think we forgot from Faiza asking how to map braided rivers with many small islands. You already just map once made the flow.
Yes, exactly. I see Martin is suggesting not to change the chainset comment. That is a good suggestion. So we already, let's say, created the comment in order to be easy for us to compute the statistics from. So we put hashtags and a small description by words of what you did. So ideally mapping waterways and farmlands. So that is it. Please do not change it, so we can, especially the hashtags, so that we can compute the statistics. Okay, perfect. I don't know if anybody has any questions so far. I know that I went into the details of something that is usually not very common to map on OSM. If you want to, I want to just to remind you that for any issue, you can contact us through the Discord. We have a Discord server, so it's like a kind of direct communication platform in which you can directly reach to us and we can answer your mapping questions. Arnali, if you later on you want to share the link, people can go there and just ask us questions. This project, as I was saying, I think will be going on for long. Although I see many people are already mapping many tasks, so I think that is good. I mean, the progress is fast. Yeah, Remigio is asking, I assume these mapping techniques are not fully suited for mapping smaller waterways in urban areas. Well, actually, it depends what you mean by smaller waterways in urban areas. If you have, for example, a river that is like a big waterway, and so I suppose maybe there is a stream passing through a village. In that case, if it is a natural stream, you map it as a waterway equal to stream. Otherwise, if it is an artificial one, could be either waterway equal to drain, or to ditch, or to canal, like if you have a canal passing through a village in this case. Yes. Yes. The Discord server is there, so just click the link and you can join it. Did I answer your question, Remigio, or was it clear? Okay. Thank you. And actually, if I'm not wrong, Remigio is from OSM Mauritania. Arnali, correct me if I'm wrong.
I'm not
No.
sure. Yeah.
Sorry, maybe I'm confusing you with another person.
I'm
It's
from Mozambique.
Okay, sorry. Sorry,
Yeah.
I forgot.
No problem.
Michael Larson asked, after we mark a task complete, is there a way to go back and re-edit?
After we mark the task as complete, is there a
Go
so
back.
there is no way, because in theory the system is not allowing you to validate your same task, which is like a pity, because sometimes I get stuck as well. So what I suggest is that you write here in the chat your task number. Let me share how you can do it. You can go, okay, let me share my screen. You will go to the tasking manager. So for example, I mapped this one. You see, it was the task number 4. So with the task number 4, so if you tell me which one it is, I can check and unvalidate for you. I mean, put it as resetting it for you. So, Arnai, if you can read the chat in case there is
Yeah, we'll go back to you, Patrick. Brendar's hand is raised. Do you wanna unmute Brenda? You have any question?
Okay, no, it's not a question per se, but on something that Michael has just said. When, let's say you're using JOSM, you make an error somewhere, but then you've already submitted the task as finished. You cannot go back to it to edit it, right? But usually what I do that works for me, I go through ID editor. So I switch and go to ID editor and return to that task. That way you get to see that particular task. Okay, like it usually works best if like the task next to it hasn't been mapped yet. So you go to ID editor, choose that the task next to the one you've worked on. Then you can have access to the other one you worked on, fix it and come back. That is usually the hack I do. So usually when I'm mapping, I usually like to map tasks that are close to me. I don't like disorganized mappers who picks here, here, here. I usually like to select an area. That way it's easier for you to maneuver certain things. I hope that is helpful for someone else too.
Yes, that is. I like that solution. It's very pragmatical, and and this is right. You can just select like the adjacent task and then move your map and pan your map to go back to your previous task. Yeah, that is a solution. The only concern is whenever a user is also mapping or is validating that other task, that may be problematic, but in general, I mean, as we have many tasks in this project, that shouldn't be like the problem in this case. But yes, I like the solution. Thank you for suggesting.
All right. Yeah. So thank you so much, Brenda. We have Patrick. There's 2 questions from Patrick. I started some mapping. It's sometimes not easy to decide if a linear feature is a small canal or a dirt road. Are there canals that pass on top of each other in that area of interest? Task number 80.
Let me go there very quickly as we are approaching the end of the meeting. So I will search for task number 40.
80.
No, sorry, 80. This was a Fabian mapping, but I cannot find it for some why. I cannot find it. I don't know what's going on with the tasking manager. Let me check.
Oh, Michael,
Yes.
80 is locked, so you have to filter for all tasks or for locked, I think.
Ah, okay, yes, because I'm searching
Oh no,
for
it's
ready
not
for
locked.
validation.
Oh, you have the wrong filter. Yeah. Now, okay. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, so task number 80. Let me go there. I hope nobody is having a current mapping session here. Oh, I have to understand where I am. Okay, we are here. Let me remove everything else. So this is the area that we are mapping right now. So we'll just highlight it. So the question is, sometimes it's difficult to distinguish among roads and canals. It's true. What I found that is working for me is to see the color. So if I see like a color that is like more towards the green, I can see that is water, while the rows usually are like much grayer. And another thing is to check how the road is going on. or if there are like some, like in this case, you see there is a clear connection to the ground. So you see the ground is going here. So I believe this is a road and is passing here. And here you can see also a vehicle. You see? Sorry. Sorry, Arnali, if you can mute who was the microphone open. Thank you. And you can see there is also a vehicle here. So this is definitely a road. And you see here again is passing on top of a canal. So you have to pan the map a little bit to understand whether it's a road or not. Oh, well, more easily you can see a lot of vehicles here and connecting to the road. So that is the way to understand. In this case, we have a canal here because it's passing. Let's say going from this canal, and you see there is like a small piece of water that is also towards the grain that is going this way. So it's a matter of getting the eye because yeah, the suggestion I would give you to distinguish between roads and canals is to see whether there are vehicles. Here I can see many. And the color of the line and whether it connects to the ground or not. There are not obviously cases in which canals are overlapping. I mean, here water is just flowing, and the most difficult scenario that you will see is a road going on top of a canal. So in this case, we should add, for example, a culvert here. We'll just split and add tunnel culvert and layer -1, especially if we have a road that is passing there. Yeah, and I wouldn't say this task is finished because there is still this canal to be mapped. So you see the water here, like this. Waterway canal. So I would still map those features, and then I can submit the changes, especially for this layer.
Mikel, are you? Looks like we lost him. All right, just to mention that we're on top of the 90 minutes already. But yeah, if you need to go, please do. Yeah, you are free to go now. But yeah, we can maybe have like 5 to 10 minutes yeah, discussion, or yeah, we can extend for five more minutes here, maybe until we get, yeah, we see Mikel again. But yeah, there are still questions on the chat. Gregory, would you like to share your screen and yeah, let us know so we can, yeah, maybe discuss project task 711? Yeah, go ahead, Gregory.
I don't have to share. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, sorry, I don't have the permissions to share screen.
Oh, really? Okay. Okay, let me just edit that. Okay, can you try again, Gregory?
Yeah, I've got permission now.
Yeah.
So here's my JOSM. Seeing it in a moment. So the way that I've understood the explanation so far from the webinar is that there are two canals, I would say here. One which takes this path here, like so. A second canal that is down here, that is what I would consider to be wide enough to be a canal, and then goes onto this highway there, and then goes over to the west side of the task. And some of these a bit, I would consider most of them drains, at least as I've understood the explanation. So I was just wondering if I could just cross-reference my interpretation a little bit.
Hello. Yeah, sorry, Gregory. My internet just is cutting off there, so I haven't really understood because it was cutting. But yeah, while we were waiting for Mikel, any other validators here would like to discuss what Gregory has shared?
The short of it is that I think that the selected ways marked in red are what I would consider canals, and that probably the straight lines within the fields themselves I would tag as drains.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. If anybody else has any questions, then feel free to pop in.
Yeah, Michael would be the same. So, no, I would agree with you that those canals and the rest is kind of smaller ditches. I personally kind of use is when you can jump over, then it's definitely not a canal. But it's hard.
Oh, here we go. Okay, thanks, Michael.
Okay. Hello. Yeah. All right. Yeah, my internet.
Yeah, so I can say that would more or less agree. So Michael just responded in the chat to say that the rule of thumb for canals is about 5 to 10 meters of width. And if I just share my JOSM quickly here, you can see that I've measured in the bottom right the width of these smaller channels, and they're about 3 meters or so. So I'd say that matches more or less with that rule of thumb there, that yeah, these are likely drains and canals. So thanks for the
All right.
clarification.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Gregory. And we're kind of out of time as well. Thank you so much for extending your time with us. Actually, next week we will have a mappy hour, and we would like to dedicate that time again into mapping the waterways. The waterways project again. So we can also have another time to discuss and talk. But yeah, if you have any questions, please do join our Discord server. I'll share it in an email later after this meeting for the follow-up email, and then yeah, I'll also share the registration for the next MAPI hour. So yeah, we are mapping project 23832, project 1 for mapping agricultural waterways in southern Mauritania. So yeah, I think yeah we can close the training or the mapathon, and then yeah, please do if you have any and you have spare time this weekend, please help us map this agricultural waterways to support FAO. And yeah, hopefully we'll see you again next week for our MAPI hour, same time, only for an hour. So yeah, you've already been briefed. So yeah, we'll see you again next week. Thank you so much and have a great weekend. Thank you. Yeah, so my internet is not good. So bye
Thank
for
you.
now.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, you can
Well,
unmute and
thank you
say
too.
bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye
Ciao.
bye.
Hope to see you soon.